Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome into the show. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles now, and we're live right here on Chat Sports. Chase Sr. and producer Chip here with you, and no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making today's show a part of your day. It is the final live show that we are doing here on the channel before we set out to travel to New Orleans for our coverage of Super Bowl 59. Philadelphia Eagles against the Kansas City Chiefs in 2 Sundays at the Superdome. And on today's show, there is a lot to touch on. We have people rocking with us from every pocket of America and worldwide. And here is the Eagles Now rundown. I'm going to go through 5 Eagles players who have to step up in order for the Eagles to take down the Kansas City Chiefs. I have some Chiefs news that impact Super Bowl 59, some Eagles rumors on their upcoming free agents during the 2025 offseason, because obviously there's not a game this week, so I do want to talk some offseason Eagles football. And then we're down to do a mailbag with all of your support. Use the hashtag Eagles or send in a super chat, and you can get your questions featured here on the show. Let's start off with this, though. I'm so pumped up for Super Bowl 59. Revenge is on the minds of Eagles fans and Eagles players, especially here on this channel. So if you're with me and you're pumped up for Super Bowl 59, I want you to type me down in the comment section. And as you do that, and as you venture into the show, be sure to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. William Deere, John Messina, Kane Angel, Diego Castillo, DMX, Hayden, Sharif Jones, X Hall, Dennis Young, Don Ackerley, Rezith, Copper, Lion Fighter, Christian C, all in the chat right now. Continue to type me because I know you're pumped up like I am. Programming reminder, I mentioned it moments ago, but we're going to continue to tell the people who don't know. Eagles Now, myself and Chip, we're traveling to New Orleans. We are driving there on Sunday. We will be there on Sunday night, and we will be providing you with great coverage all throughout the week. Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl rematch from Super Bowl 57 in Super Bowl 59. Here's everything that you can expect from the Big Easy. We're going to be doing shows from Radio Row. We're going to be doing live shows from the Airbnb so that we can party a little bit with Eagles fans. We're going to bring you player and coach interviews right here on the channel. Media member appearances, other people who cover the Chiefs and cover the Eagles, they will be on the program. Long-form content, short-form content, we're going to do it all. We'll meet up with some Eagles fans on Bourbon Street. If you're going to be there, let me know. And, of course, we'll be back in the Chat Sports studios for a watch party for the big game. We're going to be in New Orleans. We're coming to you from Studio H in the Chat Sports studios right now. Where are you watching from currently? Let me know down in the comment section. We'll start to give you some shout-outs here. Our Super Chat menu, all Super Chats here on this Thursday, will get a shout-out, including MJ Autry, who just sent in a first-time Super Chat. If anybody sends in a $20 Super Chat, we're going to do an Eagles chant. A $50 Super Chat, some New Orleans jello shots. You ever been on Bourbon Street? Jello shots are everywhere, so let's run it back here in the studio today. If we get to $100 total, we'll sing No One Likes Us, We Don't Care. And if we get to $200 total, I'm answering your questions for a mailbag. And I have to be honest with everybody here. I hear the Raiders report right behind me. They're making all this noise. They're getting all these super chats. They have not won a playoff game since 2003. So I want Eagles fans who are watching this show right now to level up with what's going on in the studio behind me. MJ Autry, he is a first-time Super Chatter. That's a $2 Super Chat. Thank you so much for that. And we obviously want to hit our sponsors for today's show as well. Joe Lord saying, hey, Chase and Chip. What's up, Joe? How you doing? Poppin' John said, urine everywhere on Bourbon Street, too. It does get a little bit smelly on Bourbon Street. I've been there many times. And I'm not going to say that you're lying. Rich Bischoff, a $50 Super Chat. I love it, Rich. And I like the efforts here. Some gas money, my brothers. Travel safe. Stay vigilant. Go Birds. Now, Trizzy Tracy used to produce the show. He's a Saints fan. He has a lot of New Orleans ties. He said, Chase, I know your run streak is approaching 650 days. You got to be careful running in New Orleans. Rich, thanks. We're going to stay vigilant as well. Whoever sends in Super Chats on the show, it's going toward drinks on Bourbon Street for myself and Chip. So, Rich, those $50, it's going to get around for myself and Chip. Appreciate that. And then this Super Chat coming in from I Wear a Large Bra. That's $1 Super Chat. We're already up to 53, which means we're 47 away from No One Likes Us, We Don't Care. And we're starting to close in on the Raiders report right behind me. Haven't won a damn playoff game since 2003, but they're getting all types of Super Chats right now. Rich, thank you for that. Making it rain, some gas money. My brothers, travel safe, stay vigilant, go Birds. And $1 Super Chat. I wear a large bra, but it's still not fit. Great English right there and an elite username. Anyway, back to our sponsor, our friends at GameTime. If you want to go to the Super Bowl in New Orleans, download the GameTime app. Best seats at the lowest price guaranteed. Prices drop as the event gets closer. They have flash deals and zone deals. You can see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Download the app, create an account, use the code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off. Terms apply. First purchase only. And our friends at PrizePicks making the show go as well. More than 10 million active members, billions of dollars in awarded winnings. The only place that you should be playing daily fantasy sports. You pick 2 or more players, you choose more or less on their projected stats, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. PrizePicks with a great special for the big game. Patrick Mahomes more than a half yard. All you need to do is get one more victory on your square. And right now when you play $5, you get $50 instantly. You don't even need to win to receive that $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Links for GameTime and PrizePicks are in the chat right now. We continue to move forward here as people get that notification, start to discover the show. And again, as you come in here, hit that thumbs up icon, like the video. More likes that we get, the more people who find the stream. The news of the day for Philadelphia, we talked about this earlier. We'll talk about it throughout the live show. The Eagles open up the practice window for defensive end Brandon Graham, giving him a chance to potentially play in the Super Bowl. This is a huge stride forward for his chances of playing against Kansas City, and he didn't waste any time. He was back on the practice field as Philadelphia practiced once again at Lincoln Financial Field. You see the team captain, the 2010 first-round pick, the Super Bowl champion, the second-team All-Pro, the leader in games played for this Eagles organization. He's top 5 all-time in sacks in Eagles history as well. He is back. Now, he's wearing that big brace on his elbow. That is the arm where he suffered that torn triceps. He did say that if he plays against the Chiefs, he will be full go. And he's been talking with doctors over the last couple of weeks. Rehabilitation process has been going very well. He said what he has to test is basically engaging with blockers and using that arm, but he did some of that today. He felt good, and hopefully that continues. Graham in 2024, before he tore his triceps against the Rams in Week 12, was putting together a really good season. Pro Football Focus overall grade of 78.6, a run defense grade of 80.1, pass rush grade of 71.8, 3.5 sacks, 20 pressures, 13 hurries, 3 quarterback hits as a rotational edge rusher. And that's on 169 pass rushing snaps. So he was playing very well. In particular, that game that he got injured in against the Rams, he was all over the place. Sacks against Matthew Stafford, TFLs against the run. He was great. And so if he can come back, that's a big boost for Philadelphia's defense, led by defensive coordinator Vic Fangio, in trying to stop Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Graham is an Eagles legend, a Philadelphia icon, 13th overall pick in 2010, Super Bowl 52 champion in that game, the biggest play in franchise history, the strip sack of Tom Brady, second team All-Pro in 2016, Pro Bowler in 2020, 76.5 career sacks, number 1 in games played, as I said, and top 5 in sacks all time in the history of this organization behind Reggie White and Trent Cole. It's then Brandon Graham at number 3. Brings experience, leadership, and good play to this Eagles defense if he can get back. Brandy Babcock, a $50 super chat. Can we get Brandy to make it rain a little bit?
Oh, we can.
Because Brandy is a first-time Super Chatter. Thank you, Brandy. All of the Super Chats that come in go toward gas money for myself and Chip driving to New Orleans and some drinks on Bourbon Street. Appreciate the updates. Let's go, Birds. Brandy, thank you for that. Making it rain. The big time 50. And how about that? Ringing in your first time Super Chat with the 50 piece. That's awesome stuff. We have nearly 200 people watching live, 70 likes. I need everybody watching right now to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video, because I just had a Chiefs fan come up to the studio and say, 70 likes? Eagles fans, y'all suck. I thought y'all were passionate. I thought y'all cared about your football team. Yeah, get out of here, Tyler. What are you talking about? Hit that thumbs up icon, like the video, and prove all of the detractors wrong. We have a loaded show coming your way. We got past $100 in Super Chats. That means that myself and Chip will have to sing No One Likes Us, We Don't Care. We will do that throughout the course of the show. We'll take down some jello shots. We're down to have some fun. But most importantly, we want to give you some great content. And so the official show is about to start right now. Let's show the people the Super Chat menu one more time, Chip, before we get the show underway, so that when you send in a super, you know that we can get down, in addition to giving you informative and insightful content, our Super Chat menu. All Super Chats get a shout out. $20, we're doing an Eagles chant. $50, we're doing some New Orleans jello shots. We owe 2 of those, so we'll do that after segment number 1. 100 total, No One Likes Us, We Don't Care. And if we get to 200 total, we will do a mailbag right here, live on Philadelphia Eagles Now. So a lot of great stuff to talk about here today. A loaded Eagles Now rundown. And if we get to 200 total, yeah, we'll do that mailbag, and we'll sing No One Likes Us, We Don't Care yet again. It is nearly 6 o'clock on the East Coast, which means it's almost 3 o'clock out there on the West Coast. Couple of jello shots and No One Likes Us, We Don't Care coming up here in just a little while. And speaking of that, I'll send a message here to get those jello shots in here. Let me just send that message. And we'll get that party popping. That looks good, Chip. I like that. Chip is cooking right now with some graphics behind the scenes. I know everybody can't see it, but you're about to see what Chip just cooked up. Almost 200 people watching, 92 likes. Let's get to 100 likes before we start the stream. We are 8 away. Let's do it for C.J. Gardner-Johnson and, of course, Kobe Bryant, who on the day of the NFC Championship game, that was the anniversary of his death. Anniversary, I don't know if that's a proper word. It was the same day that he passed away, him and Gigi, several years ago. What did the Birds do? They won that game partially for Kobe Bryant. I'm hearing Raiders fans making all this noise behind me. They haven't won that playoff game since 2003. So let's get some Super Chats in here so that we can sing Fly, Eagles, Fly. No One Likes Us, We Don't Care, so we can drown out those losers in the studio behind me. Segment number 1. It's going to be 5 Eagles players who have to step up in order to win Super Bowl 59. It's Chase Sr., Jake Chipper, and the Bird Gang hanging out. Let's start the official show right now. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. Chase Sr. hanging out here with you. And no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making today's show a part of your day. Coming up here on the Eagles Now Rundown, Super Bowl 59 coming up in a couple of Sundays. And I want to discuss 5 Eagles players who have to step up in order for the Eagles to take down the Kansas City Chiefs and the Chiefs' quest for a three-peat and beat Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Before we take a look at those 5 players who have to rise to the occasion in New Orleans, Eagles Now will be headed to New Orleans for our Super Bowl coverage, so be sure to lock us in and hit that subscribe button. Here's everything that you can expect right here on this channel. We'll be doing shows from Radio Row. We will be giving you player and coach interviews. Other media members who cover the Eagles and cover the Chiefs will also make appearances on the program. Long-form content, short-form content. We'll meet up with Eagles fans on Bourbon Street. And you know that Chip and I are going to do some Eagles chants on Bourbon Street as well. And, of course, we'll be back in the Chat Sports studios for a Super Bowl 59 watch party. We're over 105,000 subs, largest independently run Eagles channel right here on YouTube. Lock us in. Hit that subscribe button for daily and year-round coverage of the Birds. Without further ado, let's take a look at my list of 5 Eagles who have to step up to take down the Kansas City Chiefs. Player number 1, kicker Jake Elliott. On the other sideline is Harrison Butker. He has a lot of experience kicking in big games. His last 11 field goal attempts in the fourth quarter or in overtime of playoff games, he is 11 of 11. And Jake the Make needs to live up to his name to match Harrison Butker. This is a game that I think is going to be decided by one score. It's going to be a game that's going to be decided on the margins. Jake Elliott has hit a bunch of clutch kicks for the Eagles throughout his career, but all throughout the 2024 season into the playoffs, he's been hit or miss. He's been very sketchy. It's one of the worst years of his career. And here in 2024, during the regular season, he was 47 of 48 on extra points, 9 of 9 on kicks of 20 to 29 yards, 10 of 11 on kicks of 30 to 39 yards, 8 of 9 on boots of 40 to 49 yards. All of that is pretty good, right? Pretty accurate, pretty efficient. But Jake Elliott has been known to be a kicker who is clutch and has a strong leg. But he's lacked in both of those areas this year. 1 of 7 on kicks of 50-plus yards during the regular season, and his field goals made and attempted this year, partially because of the lack of long kicks made, 28 of 38, his lowest efficiency season going all the way back to 2021. And some of those struggles have carried over into the postseason. He has missed 3 extra points, and some of those extra point misses have come, which has halted the Eagles' momentum. They score a huge touchdown, fans are going berserk, and then Jake Elliott misses a PAT. It goes from celebrations to, take some air out of the stadium. That cannot happen in this game against Kansas City. Now, he was clutch against the Rams in the divisional round, in the snow, hitting a couple of huge field goals in tough weather, shades of Adam Vinatieri in Foxborough in the early 2000s, but the missed PATs have been a problem in the playoffs, and his lone kick of 50-plus yards, same issue in the regular season. He missed it wide right last week against the Washington Commanders. And when you miss kicks, especially against the Chiefs, they will take advantage of that momentum shift. They will take advantage of the good field position. They will capitalize on you not scoring points. And points are going to be at a premium in this game. Philadelphia needs to play a clean game, nearly perfect, in order to beat Kansas City. And Jake Elliott can't afford to miss some of these kicks. Second Eagle who needs to step up against Kansas City is linebacker Oren Burks. And I have to give credit where credit is due, because when Nakobe Dean went out, I did a show in which I said it is a steep drop-off from Nakobe Dean to Oren Burks. And the Eagles are really going to miss Dean after the breakout season that he had in year 3 in 2024. Well, Oren Burks has done a really nice job filling in for him. You take a look at his numbers in the regular season and in the playoffs. Vic Fangio has a linebacker background in his coaching career that has resulted in Zach Bon, Nakobe Dean, Oren Burks, and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. playing well. Obviously, some more than others, but Burks has been inserted into the lineup, and in the playoffs, overall PFF grade of 73.7, a coverage grade of 74.1, a pass rush grade of 75.5. He has allowed a passer rating of 100.5 when targeted. In the regular season, limited action, more of a special teams player because Bon and Dean were workhorses, but the numbers were good. Overall PFF grade of 83. Run defense grade just shy of 87. A coverage grade of 70, still in the green. Pass rush grade of 63.2 and a passer rating of 91.9. We have seen in the playoffs a couple of huge plays. The pass batted down against Matthew Stafford on that final drive. The forced fumble on Austin Eckler and the forced fumble forced on the opening kick of the wild card round. But that passer rating allowed when targeted. You know who knows that? You know who's understanding of that? You know who's going to try to target Oren Burks in coverage if he's matched up against the likes of Travis Kelce, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and Kelce himself. Because Burks in the Super Bowl last February had to replace an injured Dre Greenlaw after he popped his Achilles. The Niners hadn't given up a score prior to the Greenlaw injury. After that, they really struggled and gave up 300-plus yards of offense. And when Burks was targeted, guarding Kelce, he was targeted 9 times, gave up 9 catches, a touchdown, surrendered a passer rating of 134.7, and had a Pro Football Focus coverage grade of 32.1. And this is what makes Andy Reid a magician, especially when he has that extra week of preparation. He is a surgeon. He will dive deep into the tape, and he will try to find all of your flaws, all of your weaknesses. He will come up with new wrinkles for his offensive plays and all of these new ideas to try to find ways to beat you. And they'll be looking at Oren Burks to target when he drops back in coverage. Now, how can the Eagles put up a different player against Travis Kelce to help hide Burks when he does drop back in coverage? I'm about to talk about that with another player coming up here just around the corner. But first, our sponsor for today's Philadelphia Eagles now, our friends at GameTime. If you're going to New Orleans for the big game, download the GameTime app, create an account, use the code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off. Terms apply. First purchase only. GameTime specializes in last-minute tickets at the lowest price guaranteed. Prices drop as the event gets closer. Thanks to GameTime Picks, a new feature. Curation makes it easier to find the best seats with the best vantage point and the best price point for the events that you want to go to. It's not just an app for sporting events. You can go to concerts, comedy shows, theater events, and a whole lot more. You can see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. And you can access tickets from your phone, easily resell those tickets as well. You take a look at the Superdome here. This is a view of where tickets are available and the viewpoint from those seats. So, last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime. Download the app, create an account, use the code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off. Terms apply. First purchase only. Our third Eagle, who needs to step up for the Eagles to take down the Chiefs, is rookie cornerback Cooper DeJean. 21 years old. His birthday, like Saquon Barkley's birthday, will happen the day of the game, and he has had a tremendous debut season in the NFL. But an interesting matchup idea that I have, which leads me to this talking point of DeJean needing to play well against Kansas City, and really this applies for him and Quinyon Mitchell, as rookies going up against a savvy veteran coach in Andy Reid, a veteran quarterback and future Hall of Famer, in addition to Reid and Patrick Mahomes. They will try to target some inexperienced players and try to get them to bite in some certain areas and with some play designs. And an interesting matchup idea that I have, if you're worried about putting Oren Burks on Travis Kelce after your linebackers had struggled last week against Zach Ertz, how about Cooper DeJean against Travis Kelce? That's what I'm thinking about doing here. If I'm Vic Fangio, I'm at least floating the possibility because I think that DeJean can hold up with Kelce. Kelce in his playoff career, he has been the right-hand man for Patrick Mahomes, plenty of experience, and even though in the regular season his production has gone down, he looks a little bit slower, that adrenaline gets going, he turns it up a notch when the postseason comes around, and he is a great big game performer. 18-6 win-loss record in games that Kelce has played in. He's been targeted 214 times, and in those 24 games, I'm bad at math. He has 214 targets, 174 catches, more than 2,000 yards in his playoff career, 11.7 yards per catch, and 20 touchdowns. Really is unbelievable what he's been able to do. And outside of maybe guarding Travis Kelce, having to deal with the speed of Marquise Brown and Xavier Worthy, having to go up against these Andy Reid play designs with all of the misdirection and rub routes and creativity, DeJean is probably going to be the punt returner. I don't think it's going to be Britton Covey coming off that neck injury, nor do I think it should be because he hasn't played in so long. And so with DeJean in a huge game, when the pressure is on, ball security as a returner will also be huge. Fourth Eagle who has to step up, Jalen Hurts. What did I say going into the NFC Championship game? I thought that Hurts was going to be able to have a big game. I thought that he was going to be able to answer his critics, come through in a clutch spot, perform and play well. He played great. And so when you think about the Eagles quarterback here, this is an Eagles offense that relies on its strengths, offensive line and run game. For the Philadelphia Eagles to beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 59, Jalen Hurts has to play against Kansas City like he did against the Washington Commanders. When he was efficient, when he was making quick decisions, he was very accurate, he was mobile, he completed more than 71% of his passes, 246 yards, 4 total touchdowns, no turnovers, a passer rating of 110.1, and what has Hurts done since that Week 5 bye week? What has he done all playoffs long? Good ball security, keeping the ball out of harm's way, making good decisions. And that goes into Hurts having a good game against Steve Spagnuolo's defense. And for those saying, Hurts can't play well against Spags, arguably the best defensive coordinator in the game, hold on. Jalen Hurts carved his defense up back in Super Bowl 57, and he beat him in 2023. A look back at what Hurts did 2 years ago in Arizona, he accounted for nearly 400 total yards. 27 of 38, 304 through the air, 4 total touchdowns, 1 fumble, which led to the Nick Bolton scoop and score. It was a bad play. It altered the outcome of the game, but Hurts outplayed Mahomes in that game, and hopefully he can do it again. And if he does, we're going to see another parade come down Broad Street. The fifth Eagle who has to step up is more of a position group, and that's the Eagles' offensive line as a whole. And you can say that I'm cheating here, that's fine, but let me explain this. Eagles have the best offensive line in the NFL, but when you're going up against a Spags defense, slides, protections, communication, they will all be important against the exotic, creative, complex, and confusing blitzes that the Chiefs like to throw to the opposing offense. Especially with the interior of this Eagles offensive line, they have been a little bit spotty in the playoffs in pass protection. Injuries do loom large. Even though Cam Jurgens and Landon Dickerson are expected to play, they could be a little bit banged up. The extra week of rest going to go a long way in helping them come off of their respective injuries. A back for Jurgens, knee for Dickerson. But once they get back on that field, they will have their work cut out for them. Because Chris Jones, the Chiefs' defensive tackle, is a generational player. One of the best players that we've ever seen on the defensive side of the football as a whole. And even though he's a little bit older and he's been doing it for a long time, he's still getting it done. Overall PFF grade this year of 89.7. That was third among 219 defensive tackles. Pass rush grade of 91. That was first at the position. Run defense grade of 64.3, 38th. Will the Eagles run it at Chris Jones, and can they have success there? Let's hope so. He was second in pressures at the position with 74, first in hurries with 53, and he had 6 sacks according to PFF, 17th among defensive tackles. Other Eagles who need to step up and other storylines that I'm kind of monitoring going into this game. Braden Mann, special teams, and holding. Aaron Sipos was bad in Super Bowl 57. Braden Mann's been a lot better, and he's been a really good punter this year. His punts for Jake Elliott, they've been a little bit iffy. They've led to some misses. Jalen Carter, like Chris Jones, one of the most dominant players in the NFL, but he needs to bring it, and he needs to have a dominant game against a really good Chiefs interior offensive line like he's done all year, especially in the playoffs. If he does, greatly improves the Eagles' chances of raising that Lombardi. The young corners against the Worthy and Brown speed, huge in this game. Whoever is lined up against Joe Thuney at left tackle, he's a guard. He's been playing left tackle because the Chiefs don't have a better option there. You have to win that matchup, and defensive tackling is going to be big as well. The Chiefs tackle very well. Eagles usually do. They fly to the ball, but you know Andy Reid, with the lack of offensive weaponry, is going to try to scheme up plays to allow Yak for his weapons. And the Eagles have to bring those players down. With that, I ask you this. Who needs to step up for the Eagles to win. I gave you 5 players and options. You let me know and show me that you know ball. Let's get to some super chats here. Kelly Knock, a $10 super chat saying, let's go Birds. Kelly, thanks for bringing the energy. I saw a $5 super chat come in from Eric Lovely. I want to hear your thoughts on how our secondary matches up with Kelsey and the KC receivers. Go Birds. Well, it's good that you sent in that super chat because during that segment, I think I was able to talk about that a little bit. I would think about putting DeJean on Kelsey, Zach Bon on Kelsey, and the young corner is going to have to match up against the speed of Brown and Worthy. Outside of that, Watson's just okay. Juju Smith-Schuster is just okay. Here's our super chat menu. We're up to $120 in super chats. All supers get a shout out. $20 we'll do an Eagles chant. $50 for some New Orleans jello shots. Myself and Chip, we're going to take down 2 New Orleans jello shots right now because we had 2 50s come in. 100 total. No one likes us. We don't care. We do have to do that. And if we get to $200 total, we're doing a mailbag. So in the meantime, myself and Chip, some New Orleans jello shots.
Let's go, baby. Getting the week started early. Why not?
If somebody sends in a 100, I'll do a shotgun race with Avery. $100 super chat, shotgun race with Avery. She was the fun doctor during the NFC Championship game. You want her to come back, send in that 100.
And y'all did a shotgun race, and she was pretty good.
She was pretty damn good.
She was pretty good.
Yeah. Rich Bischoff, $20 super chat. I'm tapped, but a couple of cups of gumbo on me. My man. Sent in the 50 earlier, and then the 20. That 70 right there from Rich. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! And Raiders fans are continuing to make noise. I just want to drown them out with the super chats that we get. So, without further ado, no one likes us. No one likes us. No one likes us. We don't care. We're from Philly, fucking Philly. No one likes us. We don't care. No one likes us. No one likes us. No one likes us. We don't care. We're the Eagles, the fucking Eagles. No one likes us. We don't care. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! Let's go. So you saw our super chat menu. We're up to 140 right now. $100 super chat. We'll do a shotgun race. You can't be scared. We got to get the lever prepped for New Orleans.
Absolutely.
We're going to be working a lot, eating a lot, taking down some drinks. Dennis Designs, my man, saying, go Rich, go Gumbo. That's good stuff right there. All right, let's move forward to segment number 2. Continue to hit that thumbs up icon. Like the video. 3 more segments to get to. And coming up next, some major Chiefs news, which could impact Super Bowl 59. We'll get to that as well coming up right now. Yo, what's good? Welcome into the show. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles Now. My name is Chase Sr. Thanks for hanging out here with us. And coming up on the Eagles Now rundown, some major Kansas City Chiefs news, developments, and matchups that could impact Super Bowl 59 and help out the Philadelphia Eagles. Before we dive into all of that, if you think the Eagles will beat the Chiefs to bring their second Lombardi trophy home to Philadelphia, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon, like the video. If not, and you think the Chiefs will win, I want you to comment why. Topic number 1. Joe Thuney, who has been a great guard throughout his NFL career, will start again at left tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs have a left tackle problem. Thuney replaced DJ Humphries at that position back in November. DJ Humphries got injured, and prior to that injury, he was playing poorly. A revolving door at that left tackle spot. And Thuney is an excellent player. He actually missed the Super Bowl last year against San Francisco. The Niners not able to take advantage of that to generate consistent pressure on Patrick Mahomes. They did a better job of the Eagles compared to 2022 when Philadelphia had 70 sacks in the regular season and none in the Super Bowl. But then as that game wore on, San Francisco couldn't generate that pass rush on Mahomes. And what Andy Reid does is he does a good job of getting the ball out on time and quickly for Mahomes to avoid the pass rush getting to him. But with Thuney, it's pretty impressive that he's been one of the top guards in the NFL for a long time. And when the Chiefs need him to go out to left tackle to protect the blind side of Patrick Mahomes, he's like, yeah, for the team, I'll do that. And he's been able to hold up well. But the Eagles, with the number 1 overall defense in the National Football League, need to take advantage of this. This is Patrick Mahomes' backside that we're talking about. And if the Eagles can get backside pressure, you hit Mahomes, you make his night long, hopefully you can strip sack him, you hit him to force an errant throw, turnovers could go a long way in determining a winner for this game. And Humphries in 2024, this is why he needed to be replaced. He only played 92 snaps at left tackle. Had an overall Pro Football Focus grade of 44.8. That was bottom 10 or 11 among all offensive tackles in the game. He had a pass blocking grade of 30.5. A run blocking grade not bad at 66.1, but he also gave up 11 pressures on those 92 snaps. For Thuney, much of his time during the regular season here with these numbers came at guard. Overall PFF grade of 79.9, pass blocking grade of 81.9, run blocking grade of 73.5, 896 snaps at left guard, 218 at left tackle. In the playoffs, you look at how he's fared at that left tackle spot, it's really impressive what he's been able to do, and he's obviously gotten some assistance from Andy Reid here with the play calls and the play designs. Overall PFF grade of 71.9, a pass blocking grade of 86.8, run blocking grade of 71.1. He surrendered 3 pressures, 2 hits, and 1 sack. I'm thinking about Nolan Smith, though, with some twitch, speed, and bend coming off that edge spot. I'm thinking about Milton Williams occasionally lining up across from Joe Thuney and beating him with the bull rush. I'm thinking about Josh Sweat and the pass rushing chops that he has, hopefully being able to win this matchup, and maybe Brandon Graham if he could play in this game. Thuney has held up well, but can Vic Fangio exploit that left side? It also kind of impacts the Chiefs' ground game and their willingness to run to that left side. The Eagles had 0 sacks in Super Bowl 57 against Kansas City. How many sacks will the Eagles have in Super Bowl 59? Drop me a number down below in the comment section right now. Our sponsor for today's Eagles Now, our friends at PrizePicks. There is 1 football game remaining. Take advantage of it with the best daily fantasy sports app in the game, PrizePicks. Right now, when you play $5, you get $50 instantly. You don't even need to win to receive that $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. You choose 2 or more players. You choose more or less on the projected stats, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Quick and easy payouts. You can withdraw your winnings. They offer MasterCard as well, and they have a big game free pick. I know this is Eagles Now, but this is a dub right here. Patrick Mahomes, more than a half passing yard. All you need to do is get 1 more win to be on your way to a victory. Another look at our square and our lineup. Saquon Barkley, more than a half rushing and receiving touchdown. I like his chances to score a touchdown and find that midnight green end zone against this Spags defense. Get $50 when you play $5. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Code CLNS. We'll put that link down below in the show notes and attached to the pinned comment of today's Eagles. Now, to the back half of the show here, and some developments and some things that could impact the Chiefs and lead to an Eagles victory here. This is major stuff that we're talking about. We think about Patrick Mahomes as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And shoot, if he wins this ring, he's really going to threaten Tom Brady and the 7 Super Bowl championships that he was able to make. That would be 4 for Mahomes, and he has plenty of tick left in his career. But the Chiefs' offense this year has scored more than 30 points only once, and it came in the AFC Championship game against Buffalo. They are an offense that doesn't really generate a lot of explosive plays. And the Chiefs have an explosive play problem. Now, sometimes they can go on those long, elongated drives. They can matriculate downfield, eat up clock, convert on third downs, score touchdowns, keep the opposing offense off the field. But I like the Eagles' chances here of stopping the run because I don't think that ground game is great, not giving up explosive plays, and if they can get pressure on Patrick Mahomes, if they can cover Travis Kelce, they can win this game. And Patrick Mahomes does not complete a lot of deep passes. The Chiefs don't do an excellent job of stretching the field vertically. So if you cover the long ball, and that's already a weakness of Kansas City, and you condense things a little bit, and you do those other elements that I talk about, you can find success on the defensive side of the rock. Some notable Mahomes numbers here. He's number 2 in passing attempts this season among quarterbacks with 632. But his deep ball attempts are number 16. His passing yards are number 8 with 4,350, but his air yards, middle of the pack at 14. His deep ball completion rate, 26.4%, 34th among qualifying quarterbacks. But when you pressure him, that's why it's important for the Eagles to get pressure with 168 pressure throws. He's number 1. He's also number 4 on money throws, and his pressure completion rate is 61.3%. That is number 6. But the Chiefs threw the most passes behind the line of scrimmage this year. When you look at the passing depth tendencies this season, you see the Chiefs bottom right there. They also threw the second fewest passes of 20-plus yards. So what to watch out for here if you're Vic Fangio, Philadelphia, and if you're an Eagles fan. Kansas City attacking the flats, throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage. It's going to be important for the Eagles to cover Kansas City and their speed sideline to sideline because you know what Andy Reid is going to do. Shovel passes, pop passes, end arounds, bubble screens, dump offs, swings, screens, trickery to get the defense moving this way, especially with Brown and Worthy, to use that speed to get around the edge to get upfield because they don't generate a lot of explosive runs or throws downfield. And so with an extra week of preparation, this is partially why Andy Reid is so good. He will throw in some wrinkles there that are playoff Super Bowl plays that the Eagles haven't seen before. And then you add all of the eye candy, the window dressing, the pre-snap motion, the post-snap rub routes, all of that. Andy Reid's going to draw it up. But the fact that Kansas City doesn't put up a lot of explosive plays plays into the favor of this Eagles defense because they do a good job of all of those areas. There's also this. The Chiefs lack explosive runs. Isaiah Pacheco, dealing with that ankle injury that he suffered earlier this year, he's not the same guy. He doesn't have the same burst. So in that AFC Championship game, RB1 was Kareem Hunt, who this year, 200 carries, 728 yards, 7 touchdowns. He's really their goal line back. And just like Pacheco, he's very physical. But the Chiefs used him a lot there because Pacheco was hurt. But 3.6 yards per carry. Isaiah Pacheco, 83 carries this year, 310 yards, 1 touchdown, 3.7 yards per carry. And so you stopped the run. You couldn't do that in Super Bowl 57. The Chiefs ran for more than $180, I believe. And that really gashed the Eagles. So stop the run. Don't let Mahomes break contain. Look out for the designed Mahomes runs, out of structure runs. Don't give up the explosive plays, and you can beat Kansas City. I also think the Eagles are a more talented team this year compared to the Super Bowl team 2 years ago. The projected starters this year compared to last year, or 2 years ago. Super Bowl 57, Josh Sweat, Javon Hargrave, Fletcher Cox, Linval Joseph, Hassan Reddick, TJ Edwards, Darius Slay, James Bradbury, Avonte Maddox, CJ Gardner-Johnson, and Marcus Epps. I really don't think it's close. And that's why the Eagles had the number 1 overall defense in the NFL. This year, Josh Sweat, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Nolan Smith, Zach Bond, Oren Burks, Darius Slay, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Reed Blankenship. You are younger. You are more athletic. You are more explosive. You are twitchier. You are more well-coached with Vic Fangio. You have better, more high-end, and deeper personnel this go around. Predict the score. Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles. Get those score predictions into the comment section right now. And thanks for watching. Oh! Brandy Babcock. First it was a $50. Now it's a $100 super chat. Brandy making it rain. This will get the Chat Sports crew, not just me and Chip, some drinks in New Orleans when we head there. Shotgun it is. LFG. All right, let me send a message here.
Brandy. Type Brandy in the chat. Or BB for Brandy Babcock, whichever you prefer. Get those BBs in the chat.
BB in the chat. All super chats equal shout out. $20 in Eagles chant. $50 we're taking out some New Orleans jello shots. 100 total. No one likes us. We don't care. I did say 200 for a mailbag. We're over 200. We're at 245 right now. And since the Raider fans are making noise behind us, let's just go fly, Eagles, fly here.
Let's do it.
Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. Fight, Eagles, fight. Score a touchdown, 1, 2, 3. Hit 'em low, hit 'em high, and watch our Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! Let's go. Can't wait for that to echo out at the Superdome in New Orleans and on Bourbon Street in New Orleans. It's funny, the city of New Orleans sent a message out and said, our light poles are very old and historic. Please don't climb them. Philadelphia should have greased the poles. Unfortunately, somebody passed away, falling off one of the light poles after the celebration. So our thoughts and prayers to that individual and his family, a Temple University student and gymnast. But don't climb the poles. Hold your phone up. Get a good view. You don't need to climb a pole, especially in New Orleans when it could come crashing down. All right, we're going to do that shotgun race here in a sec.
Electric. I love what Kelly says. I feel like a kid before Christmas.
Let's go. All right, I don't have keys or a knife. Do you have keys on you? Okay. Lisa Chipper!
Oh.
$20 super chat. Mom. Lisa, I got to be honest. Wanted the Eagles to win for my fandom, for Eagles now, but also so your son could come to the Super Bowl.
Oh, a little extra motivation.
So, some extra motivation for the Birds. Safe travels to New Orleans. Go Birds. All right. Here's the fun doctor. Not in the fun doctor outfit, but still the fun doctor. Off-duty fun doctor. I love it. Let's see here.
Easy money.
We're doing it your way, she said in Slack, with doing a Miller Lite, not a Happy Dad. I think I'm going to have to do this one because I did it this way, right? You like it that way? All right. Yeah.
Figure it out.
We'll figure it out. True. All right. This is for Brandy Babcock, right?
BB.
BB. Throw the BBs in the chat. Cheers. Go Birds. Let's go.
Taking it down.
That's cold. I got to say, you're a champ with the shotguns. And you're kind of wearing some Eagles green right now.
A little bit.
Some Eagles green. By design. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! Thanks to the off doctor fun duty. Avery is bringing the heat. And the New Orleans jello shots. For sure. All right. Wednesday, right? He's coming Wednesday. Brett's leaving, I think, Wednesday or Thursday. So let's see here. What's our Super Bowl plan? Cool. Always staying fresh. Yo. Nah, we're good. Get those pills, huh? Lotion. Get that lotion. Gonna need that for New Orleans. All right. What are we doing? Segment number 3 next? Kind of lost count. Segment number 3 coming up next. Carol Hosey saying, hey, Chase. What's up, Carol? What is a mailbag from Diesel? A mailbag is when you submit a question and I answer it. It's like sending in mail and then I answer your email / in this version, I answer your questions. So that's how it works. Use the hashtag Eagles or send in a super chat to be a part of the mailbag here. And coming up next, we'll talk some Eagles free agent targets here, or free agents to be who other teams could target. Are you doing the show from New Orleans on Super Bowl day? So what we're going to do, we're going to drive to New Orleans. We will be there from Sunday to Friday or Saturday. Might have to convince the bosses to let us stay for a Friday night. And then we'll drive back, and we'll be back in the Chat Sports studios on Sunday for the game. So we will not be in New Orleans for the game, but we will be there all week doing coverage. That's what a lot of the media does. A lot of people just travel there throughout the week. They do shows from Radio Row, provide some content, and then they dip on out of there. Cole Page, Chase, if the Eagles win the Super Bowl, you got to take some back shots from me, cute ass. Chill. Pause. That's crazy. I know you sent that just for the reaction. You got a good reaction from Chip, but that's crazy. That's crazy. Chip's going to take a photo of that. That's crazy. Rezith522 found that funny. Hey, that's good stuff right there. I love some comedy. I'll never censor anybody with some good comedy. No cancel culture around here. All right, another $100 super chat. I'm down to do another shotgun race. I'm just saying. I'm not scared. I'm just saying. All right, segment number 3, about to get underway. Rezeth said, I'm already 6 in. You got to catch up. Well, I'm a jello shot deep and a shotgun deep. But another 100, we'll get closer to Rezeth. All right, segment number 3, let's get to stepping. Coming up on today's Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports, my name is Chase Sr. Hope everybody out there is having a great weekend. Pro Football Focus released their list of their top 100 free agents for the 2025 NFL offseason, and that includes contract projections for players as well. So we're going to take a look at what the markets could be for some of the Eagles' upcoming free agents. Before we do that, programming reminder, myself and producer Chip, we are driving to New Orleans on Sunday. We will be there all week for our coverage right here on Eagles Now of Super Bowl 59. Super Bowl 57 rematch between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. Hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss our coverage. And while you do that, hit that bell icon, turn on your notifications. Therefore, when we go live, when we push out a show, when we party from Bourbon Street, you will be notified. So Pro Football Focus has Josh Sweat as their 10th best free agent of this free agency class. And his projected contract, pretty crazy here. 3 years, $18 million per season, $32.5 million in guaranteed cash, $54 million in total money. Almost 28 years old. His last 4 years, 7.5 sacks, 11 sacks, 6.5, and 8 in the regular season. He has been a really good player for this Eagles team, and a player who was the #1 recruit in high school, injured his knee, went to Florida State, was a good player with the Seminoles. Eagles drafted him in the 4th round, and he has been an awesome player for Philadelphia under general manager Howie Roseman. Here's what PFF had to say about Josh Sweat. That AAV, that stands for average annual value, it is high. Sweat signed an early extension with the Eagles in 2021, then a revised 1-year deal for 2024, which he made the most of it to the tune of 8 sacks in the regular season. With the departure of Hassan Reddick and the unfortunate injury to Eagles legend Brandon Graham, Sweat had plenty of runway to boost his stock, and he did so on his way to a 75.7 Pro Football Focus overall grade in the regular season. He also improved against the run. It was a good bounce-back year for him with what he did last year when he had that big sack drought. The overall sack numbers didn't look all that bad. Here's the thing with Sweat. At his age, and it was brilliant by Howie to restructure his deal because they didn't pay him a lot of money this year, I would not pay him $18 million per year. I think that from Pro Football Focus, that is a gross overprojection and overpay. And so if the Eagles can get him at cheaper than that, I'm down. But $18 million per season? Myles Garrett makes $25. I think $18 million is way too steep. Then there's Milton Williams coming in at number 32. He's one of the fastest rising players in this free agency class. Has a projected contract of 3 years, $21 million per season, $37.5 million guaranteed, $63 million total. He had 5 sacks in 2024. And check out these numbers, man. A pass rush grade of 90.4. And I want to check where that ranks among defensive tackles because it has to be up there with some of the top defensive tackles in the game. Because 90.4 is as good as it gets. That ranked 2nd among interior defensive linemen. The issue with him, his run defense grade was 43.1. Now, for instance, Chris Jones, who was one of the highest graded defensive tackles in the game, had a run defense grade somewhere in the 60s. So it's really hard to find a defensive tackle who's excellent against the pass, excellent against the run. But Milton Williams is going to get paid in free agency because he also played right around 50% of the snaps. He can win with the bull rush. He can win with explosion. Really underrated player. There was an infamous draft day clip of when the Eagles drafted him. Howie was pumped up. Somebody else in the front office was not. This is what Howie saw. Him becoming this type of player. And it would be great for the Eagles to bring him back. But I think another team who's in need of pass rushing help at defensive tackle, getting in the face of the quarterback from the interior is huge. They're going to pay him a lot of dough. Here's what PFF said about Milton Williams. He's already a candidate for the biggest riser on this list. And his stock only improved down the home stretch. His 6 sacks in the regular season, career best total, and a rotational interior defender with serious pass rush juice is often the profile of a player who does very well in free agency. And Williams has limited tread on his tires, given he's never eclipsed 50% of his defensive snaps in a season, despite playing at least 36% in every year since his debut. Leave it to the Eagles to get a new deal done, but if not, don't be surprised when Williams makes a major splash in March. He has been a very valuable rotation player this year. Eagles aren't going to be able to afford that. There is good news, though. Moro Ajomo can play, and I think that Moro Ajomo can step in. Let me also throw this out there. Regardless of where the Eagles pick, they might have an opportunity to draft Walter Nolan, the Ole Miss defensive tackle, in the first round, and he brings a lot of the similar traits that Milton Williams brings to Vic Fangio's defense. More to get to here on the show, but first, let's give a shout out to our friends at GameTime. the best app in the ticketing marketplace. They specialize in last-minute tickets at the lowest price guaranteed. Prices drop as the event gets closer. They have flash deals and zone deals and the lowest price guaranteed. If you find a lower price on another app, GameTime will credit you up to 110% of the difference. Also, thanks to the GameTime Picks, a new feature, curation makes it easier to find the best options for your tickets without having to sort through thousands of tickets. So you can see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. It's not just an app for sporting events. You can go to concerts, comedy shows, theater events, and a whole lot more. But if you want to go to the big game in New Orleans, Eagles, Chiefs, Superdome, a ticket that is top 5 most in demand in Super Bowl history, plenty of tickets still available, and you can meet up with myself and Chip because we will be down there in the Big Easy on Bourbon Street. So download the GameTime app, create an account, use the code ChatSports. Get $20 off. CHATSPORTS. Terms apply. First purchase only. As for Mekhi Becton, he checks in at free agent ranking number 41. Projected contract of 3 years, $9 million per season, $17 million in guaranteed cash, $27 million total. The Eagles switched him to guard, and he has been fantastic. A true beneficiary of Jeff Stoutland University. He was a failed offensive tackle after being drafted in the first round in 2020 by the Jets. Played well his rookie year. Struggled with play, injuries, awful organization. The Eagles signed him pretty much to be a backup swing tackle. Tyler Steen gets hurt at right guard. Mekhi Becton steps in, improves his stock. He's going to get paid. Eagles never looked back, and he was a mauler at that size. And Jeff Stoutland certainly maximized the player here. Here's what PFF had to say about Becton. He is the latest in a very long line of star pupils to attend Jeff Stoutland University in Philadelphia, working with arguably the league's best offensive line coach to get his career back on track. A kick inside to guard for 2024 may not be a permanent move for Becton, as the Eagles have possibly the best tackle tandem in the NFL, but he demonstrated versatility across the line, and that's only a good thing. I would not blink at giving Becton $9 million per season. Landon Dickerson, for instance, is making $21 million per year, and Becton at less than half of that would be a steal. Keep in mind, there will be teams who will pay him a lot. There will be teams who might want to pop him back out to tackle, but if he got his career back on track with Philadelphia, and he enjoys playing with the Eagles so much, and they give him some pretty good compensation, why not come back? Him flank the Lane Johnson on that right side, really good. There's also some chatter that if Lane Johnson retires, maybe the Eagles like Becton so much, they put him at right tackle. I think he's more of a guard, because I don't know if he has the quickness to play on the edge. Then there's Zach Bon, who comes in at number 61. Criminally underranked and underrated by Pro Football Focus here. Projected contract of 3 years, $13.3 million per, $26.5 million in guaranteed money, $40 million total. He was a first-team All-Pro this season, a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year, and Howie has finally seen the value that the linebacker position can have in the modern landscape of the NFL. Zach Bon was a game-changer, game-wrecker at that linebacker spot. Excellent off-ball in coverage in his first year playing off-ball. The Eagles used him as a blitzer, forced fumbles, fumble recoveries, always around the ball. Just an excellent, excellent player who made game-altering plays for Philadelphia all year, and I think he's a player at that second level Philadelphia needs to pay. They need to bring back, honestly, among all of the players on this list, and of all of the Eagles free agents, Zach Bon is the number one player I want to see come back. Linebackers in Philadelphia, it just sounds good. And we haven't seen a linebacker like this since Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Or Jeremiah Trotter and his son Jeremiah Trotter Jr. going to try to do the same thing as his pops. Pro Football Focus on Zach Bon. We seemingly write this blurb every year for the free agent rankings, so stop us if you've heard this before. The Eagles bought low on a talented but underutilized off-ball linebacker who went on to have a career year in Philadelphia. Will they extend Bon, the latest example, and keep him in the fold? That's the blurb we never write. Focusing on Bon, there was nothing fluky about his production. little reason to think that he can't continue to play at an extremely high level in a newer role. Plus, he'll always have some pass rush chops to boot. I think that's what makes him special. And I think that's why Philadelphia has to retain the player here, because he's versatile in the way that he plays and the way that the Eagles use him. And shout out to Howie. He signed him for a vet min, and then Vic Fangio brought this special player to life. Here's a list of all of the Eagles' 2025 free agents: Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham, Zach Bond, Mekhi Becton, Avonte Maddox, Milton Williams, LaRaven Clark, Rick Lovato, CJ Uzama, Fred Johnson, Jack Driscoll, Paris Campbell, who got a photo with LeBron the other night, Oren Burks, Nick Gates, Isaiah Rodgers, Ian Book, Kenneth Gainwell, Britton Covey, Ben Van Sumeren. 19 total players right there. In-season, off-season, I have you covered right here on the show. Since I took over, Eagles now has gone to another level. For a kid who grew up in the Philly area and was an Eagles fan at the ripe age of 4, to be able to cover this team is incredible. Subscribe. We're going to continue to give you great coverage. I think Dennis DeJean sent in a 50, which means another New Orleans jello shot. Double D, making it rain. We'll pop that super chat up here momentarily. Dennis Designs, making it rain. A $50 super chat. Hey, Chip and Chase. Watch the game with the local Bird Gang in Florida. What a great time. Roller coaster and a great win. I could imagine how it was for you. Dude, it was crazy. 700,000 views on the stream. $3,500 in super chats. It was nuts. Best show that we've ever done in the history of this channel. And it was great. And hopefully, we're celebrating after the Super Bowl, because that has all-time potential for sure. Kelly Nuck, $10 super chat. Real ones are the best. I love that you got the plaque. We did. And Kelly, we did it partially because of you, and everybody who watches this show plays a role in that. Over 100,000 subs. To have 2 NFL channels over 100K, it's pretty incredible. All right, Dennis Design sent in the 50. That's a New Orleans jello shot. Got to take it down. If somebody sends in a 100, we'll do another shotgun.
I'll do a jello shot as well for that 100
All right.
piece.
Shotgun and a jello shot for Chip if somebody sends in a 100. Rich Bischoff said they won't have shit on us. I love it, Rich. I love it, Rich. All right. Another segment to get to, then we'll answer some of your questions.
Maxey snubbed. No All-Star game.
Tyrese Maxey wasn't named an All-Star?
No.
That's insane.
The reserves were in the East. They just announced this. He's 6th in the league in scoring, by the way, and 3rd in the league in steals.
Wow.
Not an All-Star.
That's crazy. So no representative for the Sixers?
No. The reserves are Dame, Tyler Hero, Jalen Brown, Pascal Siakam, Darius Garland, Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley.
Wow.
And the starters, I think, Tatum, Giannis, Cat, Brunson. Who's your other guard? Tatum, Giannis, Cat, Brunson. Oh, Donovan Mitchell.
That's crazy.
The West, Anthony Edwards, Anthony Davis, James Harden.
Wow.
Jaren Jackson, Sengun, Jalen Williams, and Wemby. Look at James Harden, man. Making an All-Star game in big 2025. James Harden's an All-Star in 2025, and Tyrese Maxey isn't. Believe that.
That's crazy, man. All right. Segment number 4 coming up. Yep. Stony420 saying that's crazy. James Workman saying chase the man. What's up, James? You're the man, brother. Little left shoulder. I like that, actually, yeah. Yeah, I kind of like that. Yeah. Good stuff. All right, another 50. I have one more jello shot to take down. A 100. I'll do a shotgun. Chip will do a jello shot. And if somebody sends in that 100 and the fun doctor wants to come back on, we can do that as well. Chugs! If we got the $200 total, which we did. Yeah, bruh. Yeah. Come on here. Come over here. How much for a boot? How much? You name your price. We're at $325 total in supers. $500 in super chats. Chugs will do a boot. That's 3 beers, 1 boot. 3 beers, 1 boot. You already know the deal.
The fastest boot in humanity, by the way.
He was on that Raider stream behind us that you probably heard.
Instant thoughts from the chat. I know we got 150 people in here on Brian Johnson. I know he's not a fan of him last year, but
yeah. So Chugs covers the Texans. Brian Johnson's going to get an interview for their OC job because they fire Bobby Slowick. He was the youngest play caller in college football at one time. He was the cover athlete of 2005 NCAA when he was playing for Utah, by the way. Yeah. He didn't do a good job last year as the play caller, but I think a lot of those constraints were Nick Sirianni offensive constraints. I don't think it was on him, but he goes to Washington, worked under Cliff Kingsbury, was a quarterback's coach for Jaden Daniels, who arguably the best rookie quarterback of all time. So, yeah.
I still want the Texans to interview Stoutland for OC.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that teams don't interview him for OC. Yeah, or head coach, but we'll keep him. It's like Dante Scarnecchia when he was the offensive line coach for the Patriots under Belichick. He was unbelievable. Jeff Stoutland for the Eagles, same thing. Yeah, the best. The best in the league. So what Chugs meant by that, if we get the 500 in total super chats, not for a $500 super chat, 500 in total super chats, Chugs will do a boot. 3 beers, 1 boot. We're at 325 right now. So what's that? 175 away? 175 away. And if he does that, I'll shotgun. Avery shotguns. Chip has to do a jello shot if we get to 500. But you got to do it before this next segment is over. And let's get that next segment underway. Eagles get some bad news according to the ESPN free agency rankings here. So let's get into segment number 4. Then we'll answer your questions. Welcome to Philadelphia Eagles Now. My name is Chase Sr., and no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, as always, thank you so much for making today's show a part of your day. And coming up, the Eagles got some bad news from ESPN. What I mean by that is some of the top Philadelphia Eagles free agents who are going to hit the free agency market might be hard to retain with how they've played, how they've performed, how they've improved their stock. And these multiple players who we're about to talk about on today's show could cash in during free agency, which impacts the job that Howie Roseman's going to be able to do this offseason, regardless of what happens in Super Bowl 59 against Kansas City. So let's start off with this. ESPN putting their list together of the top 50 free agents in the National Football League. 4 Eagles players are on that list. And Howie Roseman, as he always does, might have to get creative with the cap once again if he wants to keep and retain some of those players on this Eagles roster. As for where Philadelphia stands from a cap perspective, as you look ahead to the 2025 NFL offseason, as it's obviously set to get underway as soon as the Eagles play that game against Kansas City in New Orleans. According to Over the Cap, the Eagles have $18 million in cap space currently right now. I wouldn't panic at that. Obviously, it's not a lot of money. It's 21st among 32 teams, but that's without any cuts, trades, restructures, or contract extensions. There is some good here. We know that Howie Roseman is so financially savvy. If he were handling your stocks, you would want him to control your portfolio because he's a magician with the cap. And even if the Eagles lose some of these players this offseason, the Birds have plenty of young talent with top players locked up on this team. Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Landon Dickerson, last offseason, all signed a contract extensions. Howie was able to hit in the draft on Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Jalix Hunt, I think is going to be a good player. Reed Blankenship had his contract kind of extended and money guaranteed to him. Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley. You get the point. A lot of these marquee players are under contract for the Eagles, and regardless of which players could leave, Philadelphia is still set to have a very good roster next year in 2025. Here on Eagles Now, we do it all. That's why you subscribe to the show. And if you've kept tabs on the channel, if you haven't, look at the channel history. All throughout this week, coming up this upcoming week, great Super Bowl coverage. Everything you need to know going into Eagles-Chiefs. But when it comes to the offseason, the draft, we bring the heat here as well. That's a big reason why the channel is north of 105,000 subs. We are going to be in New Orleans Sunday all the way up until the game, providing you with great coverage. So hit that sub button. You don't want to miss it. And obviously, this is a good place to start as well by setting the table and the foundation of the top Eagles 2025 free agents. Josh Sweat, edge rusher. Brandon Graham, edge rusher. Zach Bon, the linebacker. Mekhi Becton, right guard. Avonte Maddox, cornerback. Milton Williams, defensive tackle. LaRaven Clark, offensive tackle. Rick Lovato, long snapper. CJ Uzomah, tight end. Fred Johnson, offensive tackle. And you look at the list on the screen right here. Josh Sweat, starter. Brandon Graham, marquee player. Zach Bon, Mekhi Becton, starter. Milton Williams, a great rotational player who could get a bunch of dough in free agency because he's one of the top defensive tackles who's going to hit the market. And according to Pro Football Focus, he had a pass rush grade of 90.4. That was second among 219 interior defensive linemen. We flip the page. Jack Driscoll, Paris Campbell, Oren Burks. I'd like to see him come back as a backup backer and special teams player. Nick Gates, Isaiah Rodgers. If the Eagles move on from Darius Slay, keep Rodgers and put Keely Ringo and Eli Ricks on that outside. That could be financially savvy. Ian Book, Kenneth Gainwell, Britton Covey, Ben Van Sumeren. So in totality there, that is 19 upcoming free agents for the Eagles. And so with this ESPN list of the top 50 free agents, let's see where some Eagles fall inside that top 50. Josh Sweat, highest ranked free agent target according to ESPN. I personally might have Zach Bon on there. ESPN goes with Josh Sweat, coming in at number 9. Here's what ESPN had to say about him. A productive rusher in Vic Fangio's front in Philadelphia. He had 8 sacks and 33 pressures this year. He's a long, angular mover who can win with speed to power, and he has built-in counters to disengage from offensive tackles. Sweat makes our top 10. He will enter free agency with the flexibility to play in a 3-4 or a 4-3. He's done both of those in his tenure in Philadelphia. He has ties to Arizona, where his former defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon is running the show. Washington, New England, Tampa Bay, and Tennessee could be on the radar, those destinations, according to ESPN NFL insider Jeremy Fowler. And I'm interested to see what Josh Sweat gets. For instance, Pro Football Focus projects that he's going to get $18 million per year. Myles Garrett makes $25. That is way too much for Josh Sweat. I like him as a player. Howie Roseman got him at a really good value play, 4th round out of Florida State, soon to be 28 years old, very productive player during his career with Philadelphia, but it all depends on the price tag here. Regardless of what the price tag is for Zach Bon, I am trying to lock him up. And he comes in at number 12 on the ESPN top 50 list of free agents here across the NFL. Here's what ESPN said about the stud that is Bon. Had a breakout year in Philadelphia under Fangio, 150 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, and 1 pick. He's a versatile off-ball linebacker with 3-down ability, and he can set an edge due to his physical style. You know what he can also do? He can sack the quarterback. One of the most impressive player developmental stories that I have seen in my career covering the NFL and that I've seen being an Eagles fan since 1996. He had not played off-ball linebacker before. The Saints used him as a pass rusher. Howie signs him for about $3 million. Vic Fangio, with that linebacker coaching background that he has, which started in Dunmore, Pennsylvania, shout out to the 570, turns him into a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year and a first-team All-Pro, who alongside Fred Warner, that was the All-Pro team. And the numbers, they speak for themselves, just made plays all over the yard, game-changing plays. And he can rush the quarterback. He can cover. He can go against the run. He can set the edge. This is a player who's a blossoming star, and he's already a star with what he did this year and could play a huge role against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Your call here, which Eagles free agent does Howie Roseman need to sign? Let me know down in the comment section right now. Our sponsor for today's Eagles Now, PrizePicks. One football game remaining. Take advantage of it with our friends at PrizePicks. More than 10 million active members, billions of dollars in awarded winnings. And right now, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. And if you play $5, you get $50 instantly. You don't even need to win to receive that $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. You pick 2 or more players who choose more or less on the projected stats, and you can win some big-time cash. Head to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Download the app, create an account, and get 50 when you play 5. PrizePicks also has great specials, like the big game free pick, Patrick Mahomes projection discount. All he has to do is throw for more than a half passing yard, and then you need one more win to get the big win. The other one that we like, Saquon Barkley, more than a half rushing or receiving touchdown. PrizePicks is where it's at. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. We'll put that link down below in the comment section and in the description of today's Philadelphia Eagles Now. Top free agent target number 3, according to ESPN, is Milton Williams. And how about how Howie has been able to build this roster? 3 Eagles players coming in at the top 16 so far, and Milton Williams is one of the fastest rising players who is going to be a free agent, and one of these players in the NFL this year who improved his stock more than anybody. The second highest pass rushing grade among defensive tackles in the NFL. Here's what ESPN had to say about him. The Louisiana Tech star. Williams has the strength to displace blockers at the point of attack with the light feet and short area burst to slip interior offensive linemen as a pass rusher. 5 sacks, 18 pressures in 2024 with the Eagles. The arrow is pointing up. And what's so impressive about what he's been able to do, 5 sacks, 7 TFLs, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, big plays in the playoffs, and he did all of that despite having not played 50% of the snaps. And so I think a team is going to pay him because he's young, doesn't have a lot of wear and tear on the tires. He clearly has ability on a 3-4 front, even 4-3. He could play defensive tackle. He can play edge. But if you pay him and he plays more, you have to imagine he could break out for double-digit sacks. And then coming in at number 4 is right guard Mekhi Becton. He checks in at number 30 on this top 50 list from ESPN. A failed offensive tackle with the New York Jets turned into one of the top guards in the NFL by Jeff Stoutland this season. The 2020 first-round pick from ESPN, offensive tackle, bumped inside to guard this year after signing that 1-year deal with the Eagles. He uses his 6'7", 363-pound frame to overwhelm and move defenders in the run game. He has the tools and the footwork to win as a pass protector, though. And I think a lot of teams are going to show some interest in Becton as an offensive tackle. Look, you can make a lump sum and a fortune playing guard in this league. Landon Dickerson is making $21 million per season. Mekhi Becton, you found your groove. You found your position at guard. Don't go out to offensive tackle and be a disappointment. Play guard and continue to thrive there. 3 sacks allowed, so good on those pull blocks. And when defenders see 6'7", 363 coming at him, they're like, no, get me out of the way. Oh no, Mekhi Becton's coming for me. He's a Mack truck. Be sure to give me a follow on X and Instagram, by the way, at Chase_Senior. In addition to the long-form content that I do here on YouTube, we put up a lot of short-form content up on my social media pages. What a day we're having on Eagles Now. 4 segments down, $325 in Super Chats. Now we can answer some of your questions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, Chip, we can just run through these questions real quick. I don't think this needs to be a segment.
Okay.
But hashtag Eagles, send in a Super Chat. I promised if we went over $200, we'd do a mailbag. So everybody who sent in a question will get those questions answered. Last call. $100 Super Chat. We're doing another shotgun race. Chip takes down Jello shot. How many do we have? Okay, cool. 4 from Andrew Nathan. This is the Andrew Nathan Show right here on Eagles Now. Chase, what do you think the Birds do at offensive coordinator if and when Kellen Moore leaves? Could they go to college for an OC like Taylor Mooser from Iowa State? Or could they look for a big name like Slowick? Your thoughts? The stock certainly cooled on Bobby Slowick. I like what he did last year. C.J. Stroud's rookie year in 2023. This year, though, why did C.J. Stroud struggle so much? And that Kyle Shanahan offense, it's good, but it does have some gaps. I would like to see how it does with a team that consistently invests into the offensive line. The Eagles do, the Niners don't. I'd pass on Slowick. The name to keep an eye on is somebody who's internal. It's Kevin Patullo, who is the pass game coordinator for Philadelphia, has been here over the last few years. That could be the internal promotion. But I really want to go after somebody else who has more chops. And for me, it's not a college guy. It's not Patullo. It's not Bobby Slowick. It's somebody else. Maybe like Josh McCown. I think Josh McCown, who learned under Kevin O'Connell, who's the quarterback's coach / OC with the Vikings, even though Kevin O'Connell calls plays. That's the guy that I'm looking at. Played in Philadelphia, enjoyed his time. During the COVID year, he was the emergency quarterback. I think for the Eagles, that's kind of the top target that I'm looking at. Eagles are always willing to pay their coordinators a lot of dough, and I would give him a lot of money. Even though he might not want to leave Minnesota, I try to convince him to come because I'd really like to see what he could do. Another one from Andrew. If BG does play, I believe he'll only play on the left side of the defense. Offense's right side. Your thoughts? And what's the number of snaps you believe that he would play? 7 to 12, 13 to 18. No. Now, he said today, as we're doing this live show, Thursday, January 30th, that if he plays, he's full go. Now, in the regular season before his injury, he was a rotational guy. So either way, whether he plays or not, he could be full go. He's not going to be an every down guy, of course. That's going to go to Josh Sweat. It's going to go to Nolan Smith. Bryce Huff is going to get sprinkled in there a little bit. But yeah, I think you're looking at him at that 12 to 15 range. And the thing with BG too, he's good against the run and against the pass. Sava, do you think that this Super Bowl will be a blowout or a shootout? By the way, BG is better on that left side. So good point by Andrew Nathan there. Do you think the Super Bowl will be a blowout or a shootout? Interesting. I think these are two of the top defenses in the NFL. I don't think it's going to be a 38-35 game like it was in Arizona in Super Bowl 57. I think it's lower scoring. I don't think it's a blowout. If it's a blowout, you will not find anybody in the world that's happier than me. Although if it's a blowout, the ratings won't be as well here on Eagles Now as compared to if it's a close game. Either way, I just want the Eagles to win. That's all I care about. Final scoreboard. Dennis Designs. Can Cooper handle Kelsey? I hope that he can. And we need some gang tackling. How about Zach Bond instead? So Zach Bond, Cooper DeJean. Those are the two players that I'm putting on Travis Kelsey. The thing with Bond, Vic Fangio will use him as a blitzer sometimes and as an overall pass rusher, even as a disguiser. And so if he's in between the tackle box, it's going to be hard for him to get out to Kelsey. And Kelsey will notice that. And he just freestyles out there. And Mahomes is able to find him. So I'd put Bond on him. You try to keep Burks off of Kelsey as much as possible. And I'm putting Cooper DeJean on Travis Kelsey. I think that's a matchup that the Eagles can win with and get creative with. Andrew Nathan again. Chase, the Senior Bowls this weekend. Any players we're keeping an eye on? I'm watching Marshall edge, Mike Green, Miami running back Damian Martinez, NC State offensive tackle Anthony Belton. You know, it's funny that you say that because on that first line, you said Senior Bowl. The first name that came to mind was Mike Green. Mike Green, the Marshall edge, is a fast riser. He had a really good Senior Bowl down there in Mobile. He's not going to be playing in the game because he performed so well throughout the week that he left to continue his draft prep. And that's probably the best move. He doesn't need to play. He did what he needed to do. Anthony Belton, another intriguing player. And with Lane Johnson getting older, I wouldn't rule him out as an Eagles draft target. So Andrew Nathan, good stuff right there. Promised everybody a mailbag, and we gave you a mailbag. So there you go. Hoy said, who do you predict will be the center for the Eagles in the Super Bowl? Cam Jurgens. I think Cam Jurgens will play. Brian Bidding, 15-7, hurts against the AFC. How about this? Since 2022, he's 14-1 against the AFC. Good stuff there from Hoy. And he also asked about Jurgens. Or no, that was Brian Bidding. What is it? Oh, Jurgens. Yeah, I was right. Hoy, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Good stuff from everybody here today. A good live show. Thanks to Dylan and Chip for getting it together and producing it. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Next time we're live, let's call it Tuesday night from New Orleans. Tuesday night is when I want to go live. Monday night is media night. And so we're going to be gathering a bunch of interviews with the Chiefs and with the Eagles. Tuesday night live show. Let's aim for that. Late night Eagles talk. Giving you a bunch of interviews that at that point we will have done with the Eagles and the Chiefs. We'll take some super chats. That's why you hit that bell icon. Turn on your notifications. Therefore, when we go live, you will be notified. Keep an eye out on the community tab as well. Just like I did today, we'll give you an update for when we do go live from New Orleans. So, want to go live at least a couple of times from the Airbnb and then shows from Super Bowl Radio Row. For Chip, I'm Chase for the Bird Gang. We'll see you in New Orleans soon. Catch you later. Go Birds.